Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation. So today I'm going to be making a convertible and I don't know, this is one of those videos where I'm like, okay, base idea, check, everything else, we'll figure it out. So this is what I made last week. It was the Sestava Boral GT3 DTM car, and by last week I mean 2 weeks ago because last week was a special day. This car is pretty crazy and it's a lot of detail and there's a lot going on with this one. So this week I figured I'd take a bit of a relaxing stance and try not to over-design a car for the first time in my life. Naturally, you're probably thinking, is this another Boral, the Boral convertible? And the answer to that is no. I just figured, I don't know, let's take a break from that for a bit and we'll come back and make some ridiculous stuff soon. So the body I've chosen for this is a body I've used before, but it's not one that I've done the convertible coupe version of, so yeah, let's see what it can do. Let's try and go sort of realistic, but I mean, I'm not holding myself to anything this time. It is just going to be whatever it is, including steel, monocoque steel. I've set a rough goal for myself on this one. I want to make this car something that your grandma would drive, and also you would drive and be happy. Both of you. I don't know if that's even achievable. Let's make it have a little bit of pedigree, a longitudinal engine, double wishbone front and back, so it should theoretically handle decently, but I kind of want to make it a little bit luxurious as well. New engine, let's do inline 6, not just because BMW, but because I think that's a relatively smooth engine, and one that can make some serious power if necessary. Aluminum, and then, 3 liters is not bad. Let's do, I'm just randomly choosing this, 3.4 liters. There we go, that's a little bit over 3.4 liters, and that should be good enough. Overhead cam, 4 valves, and aluminum entirely, so a different engine for sure, not something I've experimented with before. Moving through everything, I've just gone cast internals, basically. We'll come back to that as is necessary. Everything here is fine, and now the great thing that I need to decide in myself, is this engine going to be turboed or not? If we go turbo, we do have the option to twin turbo it, which is excellent. We do need to move forward to be able to see those though, so just a second. Alright, so this is what our twin turbo contraption looks like with a sort of mid intake on it. Nothing too crazy, just decent enough, I would say. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting engine. Nice twin turbo stuff on there, inline 6. I don't know, I think this is a pretty cool setup overall, and it's not something your grandma would care about unless she likes cars. She's probably not going to pop the hood, so what we need to do to appease her is to make it smooth, and that's why I've gone with all this stuff. We need quiet, we need smooth, and then for you, it's got to have turbos, inline 6, some sort of pedigree, 3.4 liter inline 6 twin turbo. Is that not good enough? How hard are you to please? I haven't really done much here, mostly just slapping on whatever seems reasonable. I'm gonna run probably super. That'll be good enough fuel for this. Alright, taking a look at the initial graphs, we're making 234.2 horsepower, which is not a lot, and our exhaust is actually quite restrictive. It's actually extremely restrictive. Let's go ahead and up the size of it. I don't know, 4-inch exhaust? Is that a bit too much for Grandma's car? 420 horses. That's a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and hit an AI tune for power and see what happens. I mean, 420 is already way too much, but I'm kind of curious. 526 horsepower, oh my goodness. Well, Grandma's got some speed if she wants it. Conrods, pistons, and crank are all dying though, so I'm going to upgrade that stuff. Alright, so we have forged internals now. This car is getting out of hand very quickly, as they often do for me, but I actually really don't mind that graph. I'm just going to tweak stuff a little bit here and there, and then let's send it. Alright, a couple small things. I realized I was running traditional wastegates, but Smart Boost, this is supposed to be a luxury car. 550 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque. Pretty low RPM, but overall, like, this thing is mint. Very reliable, and yeah, the same can't be said for its real-life counterparts. Let's go ahead, and I think that's good. Alright, on to the actual body. Well, there's a little bit of modification that needs to be done to this car. I do want to give it a bit of an aggressive stance. The thing has 550 horsepower. It's basically like an M car at this point, like an M4 convertible or something like that. So we'll give it a little bit of fender. We'll delete the top in a bit. Other than that, though, It looks okay. In terms of colors, well, you know this thing has to be white. It's just part of the rules. But we can make white look good with a little bit of black accenting, and also we can make white look good with a touch of red as well. So yeah, work with me here. I'm still going, don't worry, don't leave. Quickly with the roof, all you gotta do is make it transparent like this, and it's gone. Magic. We'll just have to hide that back window, but it's fairly easy to do, and unfortunately I am going to have to give this car in a full interior, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we'll get there when we get there. I mean, convertibles and automation are a little janky, but it's okay. I know a lot of people don't like black wheels. I tend to like black wheels, I know. Shameful. It's not the current common opinion, so it's shameful. The reason that people don't like black wheels is because they hide the designs, because it's all dark and hard to see, but I think black wheels can look really good in some situations. I'm going to try and make this one of those situations. I'm going to go for some slightly darker chrome, which will be our trim stuff, and the underbody, oh darn, I'm just going to paint that black, I think. Okay, on to the fixtures after these quick messages. This video is sponsored by Factor. I'm super lazy when it comes to food. When I'm hungry, I tend to reach for the bad, easy things that I shouldn't be instead of taking the time to make something nice. That's where Factor comes in. Fresh, ready-made meals delivered to your doorstep, conveniently packaged and portioned for your dietary needs. Picture this. I'm a turbo inline 4 that requires premium fuel to run properly. I'm moving fast these days, so I end up putting low-quality fuel in and feeling terrible because of it. Factor is the premium fuel that I need to keep myself at peak performance, and they even have E85. Use my code in the description for 50% off your first box. There's never been a better time to try Factor and experience turbo performance. Every purchase supports the channel. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. Okay, so I basically just ran through the entire car, and it's a little bit updated. So I went with a dual clutch, 7-speed all-wheel drive. Kind of hinted at that before. The dual clutch, reason for that is because then grandma can drive it, and also you can still have fun with a dual clutch. At least I think so. Haven't done any of the gearing yet, but I went for a geared LSD so that the wheels don't go crazy on this 550 horsepower beast when grandma gets a little bit too happy, a little too intimate with the throttle pedal one day in front of the shopping center. Sports compound for now, we might have to change that. It's probably not going to be enough. 265s is actually small. I thought I could get bigger than that on this car. And this is what 19-inch rims look like on this body. That is really, really small, but yeah, it looks good. Other than that, it's fairly realistic. We'll run through everything in a bit. First thing though, I gotta come up with some kind of design for this car. This is always the trickiest part of any build, is sticking to a design and then kind of actually liking it. I struggle with that a lot. But because this interior is gaping, we definitely need to put something in there. And yeah, we'll need some small back jump seats as well. This is gonna be fun. Let's go for it. Okay, I've just gone ahead and done some super basic stuff. I've jumped ahead a little bit, and I think I'm going to keep doing that for this because my videos are getting longer and longer, and I don't want to make them too long for you. Otherwise, they become a little hard to watch. I'm going Tesla-style door handles. I know, pain, misery, but the reality is that a lot of modern cars have stuff like this, and it's a little gimmicky, but it is kind of neat, so I'm putting it on there. Just mirrors, basic. I cut out the back glass piece that was there, so we have a full interior of space to work with. And other than that, well, just some small details. Time to do the front though. Time to make something interesting. I almost always start with headlights because I feel like they sort of define the look of the car and the look that the car gives you as well. I was sort of pulled towards these, and I feel like I might have done this before, but they just don't fit on this body very well. Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure I could get it to work with a little bit of grill stuff, and I might have to try, but yikes. This one line up here on this body just kind of destroys any front-end ideas that I ever had. It's not easy to work with. So just as a heads up, you might be seeing more sponsorship stuff on my channel coming up in the near future. The reason for that is not greed. I'm just trying to build up my project car budget, and this is the legit honest answer for this. I try to be as honest as possible on this channel, but pretty much every purchase of these sponsors that I'm doing is going directly into my project car budget. So if you want to see my Tibron do some weird stuff, then that's one of the ways to support me. And always, I'm appreciative of companies that reach out and are interested in supporting my channel as well. It makes this feel like more of a actual possible career one day. Although, I don't know, it's a little lofty. Basically, I'm doing my best to root out companies that aren't terrible. So yeah, check them out when I do these things, because guaranteed no crappy mobile game sponsors on this channel. Guaranteed. Call me out if I mess that up. Yeah, so back to the car. While I'm thinking about some stuff here, I've been working on the front end of this thing. Just trying to do the best that I can do to fix some of the areas that have been broken by this piece. The car is gonna look a little strange, I think, but it does have a bit of a fish lip thing going on, and the big grille at the front too. But this seems to be a good way to sort of blend in this piece here, so I'm kind of pleased with it. That being said, I don't know, everything subject to change. Okay, I'll admit I'm experimenting on this car a little bit. It's definitely getting weirder by the second. This is a big pre-made piece. I don't usually use these, but I figured I'd give it a shot for this and see if it kind of wraps in the way I want it to, and it's not bad from a distance, like a far distance. It looks like a legit car. There is a huge gap here that we need to fill though, and I haven't changed this grille yet either. Okay, I was gonna put a legit BMW logo on here, but I've decided against it in favor of something else. We got these cool shark logos, although I don't know, something like this is really cool, so I think I'll probably just put a huge one of those in the center. Although that blue doesn't quite go with the red I'm going for. Alright, so the brand in this case is some weird shark thing, also combined with BMW. I'm kind of digging it, and I feel like I can just kind of expand based on that. Honestly, this does kind of look like a Mercedes, unintentionally so, but I like where things are going. So let's do some side pieces. I think it needs one of those like side grill things with badges on it, you know what I'm talking about? Man, oh man, this front end is getting a little messy. Let me move on to the back here before I get too crazy. Every single build I'm always like, yes, yes, and then I get too mad and I just kind of go a little bit nuts with it. But this time I want to try to keep it simple, and so far I've failed. However, the inside, I mean, we can work with that. Back end, not too much actually to do here. Let's try some more pre-made stuff, try and keep things a little bit more simple. There are some really nice pre-made rear ends in this game. So yeah, this car is a single exhaust because it's an inline 6, although I could totally just double it up just for the sake of it. I'm wondering now though, we have 2 turbos. Now, we can still only get single exhaust out of it, unfortunately. Although, theoretically, you could run dual out of 2 turbos. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do the fake exhaust thing. I'll just kind of stick it out like that for now. I like the way that this is going, though. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, you know what plate I had to put on the car. It's only natural that this is a California car. So, yeah, it does kind of pop out awkwardly. That's really strange. Anyways, I'll fix that in a bit. Or maybe I'll just completely forget about it and then leave it there, just hovering in nothing. Trying to rush a little bit on the back end. I don't think, unless you've actually built these cars, then it's hard to know how long it takes to do this stuff, but I honestly these days I spend probably 2 hours just like designing every vehicle that you see. And sometimes I just kind of have to run with an idea. Sometimes I'm doing it, I'm like, this is awful, and then I'm stuck with it because I've already done half the design. So yeah, you definitely can tell which ones those ones are. So on the front we have sort of modern projector style lights and then some interesting fog lights as well. I think it blends together well, and I like the little touch of red there too. On the back, I want to do something similar. It's just really a matter of finding something that doesn't look like it belongs on a Honda Civic in 2003. There is always the option of stealing the lights from the Dodge Durango. You know, I'm not always against this option. It can be good on some cars, but it's like, yeah, no, it looks exactly like a Charger or Durango or Dart even. Like, there's no mistaking these lights. I have an idea for the future, and I'm interested to see what you think about this, because this might be an interesting thing to do at some point. Wow, okay. You can see what bad car design looks like right there. But if I was to challenge myself, or you to challenge me, to just pick random headlights and taillights for a car and then try to like make them look good without completely covering them up. That would be a very interesting challenge, and I might be interested in doing that, however difficult it might end up being. I'm legitimately having so much trouble with the back end that I decided to just move on to the other interior portion for now, and then I'll come back. I cannot pick taillights. I'm struggling way too much. I like the front end, but I'm just like, filling this gap is harder than it seems. That being said, let's put a very modern interior in it, make it very nice, and yeah, I'll see what I can do. There are some really, really nice seats in here now. Somebody has made some extremely nice parts for the interiors, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that pretty much exactly as it is. Okay, there's an interior for you. I actually put a big floor piece in it. I just realized that you can get those in this game. I thought that you had to build them all individually, but not anymore, thanks to mods. We now have a white carpet. I've closed this back piece off just with like a big piece of something just so it doesn't look so bad. And we have no back seats at the moment, although I should probably try to remedy that. Other than that though, rear lights, we're probably good. Okay, I think I'm done with the design on this car. It has been a while, but I am, I think, satisfied with what I've come out with. It's the Tibron Limited R. Yeah, it's got shark logos and various BMW things all over the place, and also this in the back end. I was going to be like, oh, I phoned it in on the back, but it doesn't look too bad. It's just kind of simple, and I'm not sure the spider eye rear end really matches with the front, but I don't know. Maybe on a different car this would look better. I'm going to have to stay satisfied with it because that's what I've gone with, but if you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments. This body is a weird one, and I definitely haven't been able to do it as much justice as I would have liked. Alright, let's get this big performance. I was gonna say sedan, but it's a coupe-ish. It's a grand coupe almost. It's a big boy. Let's get it working in BeamNG.drive. First thing we gotta do though is give it a little bit more top speed. 175. Yeah, no, that's a pretty significant limitation. I think we need to do a little bit more than that. Okay, we're sitting somewhere around 340. That's a little bit better than it was, just a touch. Spacing here is good. Geared LSD again is the same. Power distribution, actually it needs to be a little bit to the front to be where this game would like it. Brakes and stuff are probably our next highest priority. Everything here looks reasonable. Sportiness is all good. Surprisingly low amount of wheel spin considering it's not even on slicks, and it does have 500 horses. I'm going to make the brakes a little bit bigger. Otherwise Grandma's not going to be able to stop. Yeah, convertible luxury is pretty much exactly what I'm going for here, and it makes a lot of sense for this car, so yeah, I think this is pretty much exactly the spec that I want. We're still getting really bad brake fade, which is unfortunate. The brakes themselves are absolutely gigantic, so I don't know. I mean, that's as big as they can get in this area here. I guess we'll just have to go up here and up here. More aggressive pads, a little bit more front force, and it's fixed. Aerodynamics, I kind of already touched it a little bit. We don't actually have any aero on the rear, so this is a bit awkward. And we do have quite a bit on the front. If I crank this all the way up, it basically evens it out, so that's probably better. I don't know. We don't want too much aero on the front, so we'll just leave it at that. Interior is basically just all the fancy stuff, luxury, and automatic soft top. Driver aids and safety, I gave it everything for obvious reasons. Suspension is all active fanciness, and I think everything here is good. On to the actual summary. It's a hefty boy, 2,364 kilos, but it is 550 horsepower, inline-six twin turbo. This car is going to be a riot in BeamNG. I'm very excited. Definitely a momentum vehicle though, because once you go, you're not going to be stopping. Yeah, let's see how it drives. I'm very curious, as I'm sure you are too. Alright, so here's what the car looks like in BeamNG, and here's what it sounds like in BeamNG. Yeah, you can barely hear anything because it has full exhaust. That's okay though, I think that's fine. The windows are extremely transparent. I probably should have tinted them a little bit. Other than that though, the car is looking pretty good. I I actually don't mind the back end. I think I could have made the chrome a little bit darker though. It's a little bit too bright for a lot of this, but that front end though is mean. I love the way that the red accents look on the bottom, and the little accents I put in the grille look really cool. Let's see how it drives. Shifting into drive immediately. We'll just leave all the assists on for our first little run here. By the way, we're in Utah because I figured this would be a good map for a touristy type attraction thing going on, and that's kind of what this vehicle is in a lot of ways. It's a heavy tourist attraction car. You'd be driving the highways and stuff, going places. It seems like a very expensive vehicle, so I don't know. Driving characteristics, actually not terrible, and I mean, I'm not exactly giving it on these roads, but you can drive reasonably very easily in this car, and I think that that just in general is a good thing. No need to worry about shifting, no need to be in sport mode, the car handles all that for me. I'm just cruising. So, funny story, I actually really like convertibles, but at the same time, I don't do well in the sun. I have vitiligo and my skin burns extremely easily. I made an entire video about that, which I'll link in the description if I remember to. But basically, I have to wear sunscreen like crazy when I go outside, so convertibles just don't mesh well with me. The best way to experience them is in games, unfortunately. Stuff like the Miata definitely is interesting to me, but I would prefer hardtops, like in real life. I think one day though I gotta buy a convertible just to say that I've had one in the past. Even if I don't end up keeping it for very long, I have to keep that in mind. Maybe just in general, but I'm kind of that type of enthusiast that wants to switch their car like every 2 months. Honestly, even if I pick something out and I'm like, this is the best car ever, I know I'm gonna be like, oh man, I want this instead in a couple months time. It honestly is a fight to keep my current vehicles some days. I don't know, I just want to experience all different kinds of cars, and let me know if you're the same way. I call it automotive ADD. I stole that expression from somewhere, but honestly, I don't remember where. So, driving this car on the hillside, honestly, I feel like we fit in really well. This being a pretty hardcore, well, okay, pretty hardcore luxury car. It's got some performance chops, though. You can see I'm doing 150 on the canyon roads. I would not do this in real life. But the brakes are strong, all-wheel drive is smooth. I don't know, like, the best way I can describe this car is just smooth. Alright, let's cut into this section here. I'm still running ESC, I'm still running, well, I'm in sport mode now, but I'm still running the nannies, basically. Let's turn that off and see what happens to the car. Is it going to drastically change? I mean, you can do a donut with it, I guess. All-wheel drive burnout, sideways donuts. Yeah, I mean, it works. See, the past driving I was doing there with all the nannies on is exactly what your grandma wants, but maybe you, a little bit younger, a little bit more sport-oriented, you're going to be wanting the ESC off and see what that'll do in the canyons, and honestly, it doesn't make that much difference because the grip is pretty much endless in this car, so I'm not struggling at all or really wanting for any extra grip. It really just feels planted. Oh, a little bit upset there. However, I am absolutely flying. At least it feels that way. I'm kind of eager to hit the highway and see how fast we can go, so I'm headed over there now. I normally don't say stuff like this, but I don't take requests in automation, but if you have something you want to see, drop it in the comments, because I have been trying to take inspiration from your guys' ideas recently, and I've been trying to do some, not requests, but just some ideas that other people have, instead of just whatever the heck I come up with, because sometimes on a day when I'm like, I'm tired, I don't know what to do, I look in the comments and I pick something. Okay, we made it to the highway, cruising along. I mean, this highway is fairly lengthy, it's not that long, but before we hit the tunnel, I'm anticipating we're gonna hit like at least 250. Oh yeah, no problem hitting 250. What about 300 though? Tunnel is up there, downhill. Oh, it said it'll do 300, but I'm not so sure anymore. Well boys, rest in peace. 290 I think I saw there. That was pretty good. I have a personal theory that vehicles that are heavier in automation tend to just be more durable in BeamNG, especially when it comes to suspension and components that are under here, essentially. Didn't do that on purpose. But that does seem to ring true with this car. I've crashed it a few times just into boulders, nicking the wheels and stuff, and it still seems to be strong. I definitely would have lost a lot of pieces if this car was super light and I did that. But let's wrap things up. Overall, car good, video good, leave like. Support sponsors that support me, and I will see you guys again next time. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video, and of course we gotta crash down the canyon. Just gonna turn off the engine and let it go. Oh, pretty good. Yeah, no, this thing is durable as heck. Like, start this back up. We're good, man. No problem. But that's it for this week. Hopefully gonna get into SnowRunner soon. I know that that's a weird thing to come out in the summer, but man, I just feel like playing SnowRunner recently and I need an excuse, so time for a series. I heard they added Ontario, so my home province, I gotta do it. See you guys again soon. Big thanks to those who have chosen to support this channel, specifically those in the V8 tier. We have Overlord, Terry01, Sinlab, J Pope, Davis Heister, Baja Blast, Goofy Plays, Phoenix Shark, Badger, Mancini Country, Shadow Jasper, and I Look Vul High Milk. Thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for subscribing to this channel and continuing to support me. I will see you guys again very soon.